The Chicago Bears lose their final game of preseason by a score of 24-21 to the Buffalo Bills. So let's go ahead and recap the game for you guys, talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and much more. But before I do, what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, hit that subscribe button down below. I promise you, you will not regret it. Make sure you turn the bell notification on so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, people, so let's talk about this game. All right, and I will start with what I always say with preseason games. I don't care about the end final score outcome. All right, that doesn't matter to me, even though the Bears are now 1-2 to finish off the preseason. Don't care that they lost this game. We are just looking to see what we could, potentially find during preseason that could be a takeaway. All right, so wins or losses don't matter. We're on to the regular season in terms of that. But let's talk about takeaways here. We start obviously with the offense and with Justin Fields. And I got to tell you, folks, Justin Fields today did not have a great performance. Now, he was out there for, I believe, 2.5, almost 3 drives, because the last drive he was out there, he got taken out midway through that drive or at the end of that drive, which I'll get into in just a moment here. But in the drives that he was out there, he did not look very good. I'll be honest with you guys. You guys know one of the reasons you guys probably subscribe to the channel and watch my videos is I am not biased. Being a Bears fan, I will call it like I see it. If a player is not performing well, I will say it. So today, Justin Fields had a lackluster performance. Does it mean anything? No, not at this point. It's preseason, okay? It doesn't mean anything, but it is worth pointing out because if Fields played really well and he threw like 3 touchdowns, I would have pointed that out. So we got to do it both ways. But keep this in mind before I talk about Fields a little bit more. Last preseason, so before last season's season started in the preseason last year, Justin Fields, I think, had a fantastic game to finish off preseason, threw like 3 touchdowns and looked fantastic. And then we know that it took him a while to really get going during the regular season. So preseason does not indicate the performance during the regular season. Just want to point that out there. But yeah, man, he did not look good today. The 3 drives or 2.5 drives, the first 2 are 3 and outs. And I thought, like the protection was decent. Even though we were starting most of our backup offensive line outside of, 2 guys in Braxton Jones and Cody Whitehair, I thought the protection held up pretty well. Fields had time, failed to kind of step up in the pocket. He did have a throw to Khalil Herbert. Herbert dropped it. He tried to connect with DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney on some deep shots that didn't connect. The one to Mooney needed to be a little bit more of a back shoulder throw with more touch on it. But the point here is wasn't sharp. But that's why you need the reps like you can get them, right? And then finally, he did start to get some rhythm on the last drive through a 40-yard strike to DJ Moore, which actually DJ Moore did a lot of that yak yards after the catch as well. But it was a fairly good play down the field by Justin Fields, finding him. And then he had a couple other nice plays. And then on a screen play, he got blown up. And the coaching staff immediately took him out right after that. And they did the right thing because his health is paramount. Nothing else matters. So they took him out, put in Tyson Bagent. But yeah, overall, Justin Fields 2 for 6, 51 yards, passing, no touchdowns, no picks. So to me, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and bash Justin Fields. Obviously, he looked a little rusty. He looked a little lackluster. But when the games start counting, that's when we got to start counting his performances. But yeah, on the field today, pun intended, Fields did not look that great. But we'll see what happens. I'll focus on week 1 against the Packers in terms of how he will be doing them. All right, and then a couple of other things here. Let's talk about Tyson Bagent, man. He came in as the QB2, so he was the second quarterback in. And this kid, he deserves a spot on the 53. There's just no way around it. He is electric. He makes plays. He makes the right decisions. Had another rushing touchdown today. And I think he just brings more to the table than P.J. Walker or Nathan Peterman. Like, you can just look, right, with the eye test, not even anything else with the numbers or anything like that. And you can just tell that he is a better player than P.J. Walker and Nathan Peterman. And I think he deserves to be the QB2. And I think he deserves to make the 53-man roster. And I don't think he did anything to hurt that. In fact, I think he did help his chances today. So I want to point that out with Tyson Bagent. All right, another quick takeaway here. Roschon Johnson, though the numbers won't say it, 9 rushes for 22 yards and 1 catch for 11 yards. He is the real deal. This kid is the real deal. He can get you some hard-earned yards. He can catch the football. Something that, again, Khalil Herbert, the reason why he might not be able to become a complete back is because he lacks in pass protection. And, again, pass catching-wise, not the greatest either. I believe, again, I've been saying this all offseason, Roschon Johnson, when it is all said and done, and certainly before the season is over, he will be the Bears' RB1. He is that good. And so to me, it's just a matter of when, not if. He's coming. Roschon Johnson. You heard it here first. Number 4, the offensive line. It looked pretty solid today to me. Like, I'm only talking about when Fields was out there. I thought they gave him some good time in the pocket. Obviously, you're not going to get all the time in the world. But against the Bills' front defensive line, which is very good, I thought Justin Fields was given some decent time here. The bad news is another one of our centers did get hurt. Doug Kramer started today, and I think he left with an injury. So hopefully he's okay. But I really feel like, we got to scout the waiver wire here. Ryan Poles really got to go to work because the O-line depth is really being tested at this point. But the boys held up pretty well today, all right? Another takeaway, Tyreek Stevenson looked pretty solid today, had an interception, I believe down the left sideline, just caught it right before, the receiver could and had both toes in. The kid just looks like a playmaker, so you love seeing that. So there was some really good, there was some bad. Overall, man, preseason is preseason. You can go 3-0 and it doesn't mean anything, right? You can go 0-3 and you could, have a fantastic regular season. I'm just glad at this point it's over. So let's see what happens here. We are on to week 1 against the Packers. One other thing I did want to point out, Tyler Scott did return kicks today, no Velus Jones Jr., and so we'll see again who gets delegated to punt and kick return duties with Velus out, and now Dante Pettis is on IR, and we talked about Tyler Scott, so maybe Scott does both. We will see. But yeah, man, I just feel like I don't want to read too much into the preseason. Offense didn't look great today. Defense made some plays. Travis Gibson, even though he requested a trade mid-game, he had a strip sack. I just feel like at this point, I am focused. I sound like Bill Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. I'm focused on Green Bay, and the takeaways from that game is what I'll be focusing on. Preseason is preseason. Can't take too much away from it, so that's what I'm going to treat it like. So let me know what you guys think, man. What were some of your biggest takeaways from preseason? And now that it's over, how hyped are you guys for the regular season? I am so hyped for week 1, man. I can't wait. Let's get it. As always, thanks for watching. Go Bears.